Wow, what a day. I just can't wait to get home. I have one last piece of cheesecake remaining. The last one. I've been looking forward to it all day.
So good.
My cheesecake. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Kyle. And this is the Given Creation Cheesecake Review channel. I've been good all week. Now it's time to eat. On this episode, we'll be doing the Dutch Caramel Apple, one of my personal favorites. I promise you, once you have a slice of this, it'll change your life forever. If you love cheesecake as much as I do, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see videos on a weekly basis, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you have an idea for a future episode, please just put a comment down below. Most of today's recipe can be found on Pinterest. I'll put that in the description box below. Some of it's been changed. I'll leave the way I did it also in this description box. And as we go through the actual recipe, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Let's get started. So turn on your oven to a warm temperature. Mine only goes down to 200. That's fine with me. It's not going to make a bit of difference. Unwrap the cheesecake, and what I do is I place it on a plate with wax paper. This is ultimately going to go into the oven. The wax paper is used for when I get the cheesecake off the plate, it comes off easier. For this cook, we're going to use a 10-inch springform pan. I don't care what you read or on what internet article, or even if the original recipe that this references calls for a 9-inch. Go with the 10-inch pan or you're going to have a bad afternoon later on. Wrap it in foil. I use 5 pieces of foil. You probably don't need that many, but foil is cheap. A devastating afternoon is not. Now comes the super secret ingredient, vanilla wafers. In this video, I'm going to use 6 ounces of vanilla wafers because that was what I had left over. It's half a box. Whether your box has 12 ounces in it or 15, just use half. That way you can get 2 cheesecakes out of it. Apply 1/3 cup sugar and a twitch more. Then sprinkle your cinnamon and nutmeg over the sugar. It's an unmeasured amount. Then add in 3 tablespoons butter, mix, and then put your mixture in the springform pan and pat it down. For the sour cream mixture, put in 1/4 cup flour, 8 ounces of sour cream, and 2 tablespoons vanilla. Mix and just set off to the side. doing great so far. It's time to pull the cheese out of the oven. It should be soft by now. I wait till it's almost melted, but it still has its shape. Pull it out of the oven, place into the bowl. Add your 4 large eggs. You should do it one at a time. After the eggs, add in 1 and 1/2 cup sugar, followed by half a pint of heavy whipping cream. All right, combine your sour cream mixture into your cheese mixture and mix well. Don't worry about the lumps. You could work at it all afternoon. You're not going to get all of them. Once you just are fed up with mixing, set that bowl off to the side. Now for the actual longest part of the cheesecake process. In a saucepan, start browning up 1/4 cup butter. You just have to melt it. Core 4 apples. I do not take the time to peel them. I've cooked this before. It turns out just fine. In 1/2 cup cold water, put 2 teaspoons cornstarch. Add in all the ingredients to the saucepan. Add in 1/2 cup brown sugar and 1 teaspoon cinnamon. When I did this cook, it took about 15 minutes for the apples to cook properly. Now for the actual ingredients that make this the Dutch caramel apple. You're going to need 1/4 cup sugar, 1/4 cup flour, 2 tablespoons cinnamon, 1/4 cup butter, and it calls for a 1/2 cup walnuts, but I don't want to waste any, so I'm just going to use the whole bag. Trust me, it's going to be fine. Mix it. Now for the caramel sauce. We're going to do this while the apples are cooking on medium heat. It's 2 tablespoons butter, 2 cups brown sugar, 1 cup half and half, 2 tablespoons vanilla, and I'll add in a twitch of salt later. Special note, this is entirely too much caramel sauce. I would cut the recipe in half, if not more, if I was to do it again. One of the tricks is to pre-bake the crust. Put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 350 degrees. What you want to do is start your water bath early to get that steam going. So fill up any pan that you have with some water and set it to boil. Now that your crust is baked for 15 minutes, pull it out of the oven and it's time to put this bad boy together. First, start off with the mixture. Then, add in your apples. The apples produced a lot of extra juice or sauce. Try not to use all of it. In my experience in the past, it didn't harm it. However, it's best not to use all of it, and be aware that the apples might sink and some of them might stay at the top. After you add in the apples, try to get it in as evenly as you can. Put the streusel topping on the top, mix it around, and then put into the oven at 350 degrees for this cook will be 95 minutes. All right, now that was a lot of work. So the cheesecake's in the oven and we have about an hour and a half or so. And we want to enjoy a bite, maybe 2, of that cheesecake. So you know the drill. Put on your shoes and let's go. Alright, so it's been about 95 minutes. In that time we took the dogs for a walk and we did a little weightlifting. And now I'm having my Avoid Future Food Regret smoothie. It is kale, some fruit, and some almond milk. Delish. So it's time to turn off the oven. We're going to take a look at it. Oh, it looks perfect. Okay, now normally I just shut the oven off and I walk away. We're going to change the recipe just a little bit. I don't want to mess around with the caramel all night and then chop it up and put it on while I'm serving guests, because I'm not going to be serving guests right away. So what we're going to do, and if you are serving guests, then just save the caramel for later or cook it at a later time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drizzle, oh my god, that smells so good, drizzle caramel on the cheesecake, like so. Okay, I'm going to try to make a note at the beginning of this video to cut that caramel recipe in half. So as you can see, the caramel that we used, it did the top. There's still half of it left. I would suggest do not do that much caramel. Cut it in half. So, as always, we put the cheesecake in the warm oven to let it cool down for about 4 to 6 hours. So the cheesecake has been cooling down inside the oven for about 4 hours now. It's completely cool in there. And so we got to get it out to make way for this bad boy. This nice Papa Murphy's pineapple pizza. Pineapple's my favorite thing. Can't wait for that. And then tonight's ice cream is actually terrific cheesecake. Now, I don't just buy cheesecake ice cream. I bought this. It's because it's the one I haven't tried yet. So, terrific cheesecake. Can't wait. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh. Let's get that into the light. My Lord. My Lord. Now, as always, no matter how tempted you are to eat this right now, you have to put it into the fridge. It needs to be in the fridge for optimal 24 hours, minimum 12 hours. Get it chilled all the way through. Let it completely come to rest. So, I want to eat it. I'm going to eat this pizza and ice cream instead. This cheesecake's going in the fridge. I'll cut it tomorrow. It's that time. Look at that. Oh my. Oh my. So it's time to cut it. It's time to eat it. I've been waiting so long. I've dreamt about it. So, use hot water and wipe it off on every single cut. I'm so excited to try this. Dutch caramel apple is my favorite cheesecake. I don't do it all that often because of the work it takes. So I cooked this for about 95 minutes and it looks perfect. Like I said, I wouldn't use so much caramel next time. The apples are just absolutely perfect. The streusel and caramel on top. The cheesecake is just the way you want it, nice and firm. I would suggest to anyone use more than 6 ounces like I did. 7.5, 9 ounces vanilla wafers. Make the crust a little bit bigger. Make the crust a little bit crispier. And you can do that just by adding more. Look at that. gonna have to stop after this next bite. This is my last one, I promise. No, one more. One more. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you'd like to see these kind of videos on a weekly basis. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your input, things you'd like me to try, things that you notice, any questions you might have. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.